It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Time for us to talk relationships because it's Relationship Monday. Now, the latest findings from Statistics South Africa reveals that the country's marriage rate is decreasing while the divorce rate is increasing and mostly initiated by women. Now, do we take this to mean that we are no longer finding marriage relevant in the modern age? Does marriage need to be the pinnacle of committing yourself to a life partner? And if not, how are couples pledging their commitment to one another? Now, our relationship expert is in the house this morning. Dr. Eve is here, and of course, she's going to be discussing these topical issues. So if you have any questions, please do feel free to call us. That number is 021-430-9881. Dr. Eve, welcome.
I'm looking at the three of us, and we're dressed
all
in
in
black.
Are we
And this
mourning
is not
something?
planned. This was not planned
We're flowing.
beforehand.
We're flowing
all
with
in
one
sync.
another.
Yeah, but I'm kind of wondering about the topic. Are we reflecting the death of marriage in our black mourning garb?
Yeah, well, Dr. Eve, you know what? This is going to be a very interesting topic. I'm
Yeah.
still, in my personal life, all for marriage, and that's from my Christian background. I believe
Okay.
in marriage and still hope to get married one day. But does this mean, according to the statistics, things are saying a different thing?
Very
Does this
much.
mean if you're looking for a partner, you should think of marriage as the end goal?
People are not doing that any longer, Zoe. This is what's so fascinating about new research that's coming out. There are two different schools of thoughts around it. The one is the continuation of the traditional belief in marriage, and people are still getting married. I mean, it is still a very firm institution in people's lives. People see that still as the ultimate commitment. But then there is another whole school of thought, which is not school of thought, behavior patterns that are emerging in young people of your age, between the ages of about 22 and 34 years old, who are not getting married and are also, or if they do, they're kind of delaying marriage, but they're doing a different form of commitment.
Yeah.
And we have the most wonderful example of that. Where's Graham?
He's in the kitchen. He's in the kitchen.
in the kitchen. Well, why he exemplifies the new modern trend, which is that 55% of people, this was a survey that was done in the United States, I have no idea what it's like in South Africa, 55% of people are having babies before they get married, if they ever do get married.
Yeah.
So the form of commitment today is more around having a baby
Well,
than
we're
being
putting
married.
the new way of doing it on screen right now. Graham's in the kitchen. He doesn't want us to show him, but there he is.
So that is a new form of commitment.
Yeah.
Another form of commitment, which we've spoken about before, is buying a house together.
Yes.
So people are avoiding getting married. It doesn't seem to be as popular and favourable as it used to be, certainly back in my time.
Yeah.
This is a new trend that is emerging, and there are reasons for it and there are reasons against it.
I also saw here there's something called the marriage succession.
Yes.
What exactly is that? Because
Right.
apparently there is a way of doing it that we've
Yeah.
been doing it that kind of would guarantee that we would succeed economically and socially within a marriage.
Right. So this is also research that came out of a study that's been done, a youth surveillance study that was done in the USA, that looks at, from an economic point of view and from a health point of view, how do people do well economically and from a health point of view. And what they found is if people do not follow this success sequence, they do less well. What is the success sequence? It means that you have to finish school, finish your matric, or get a tertiary education, get a job, then get married, and then have a child.
Yeah.
And they found that people who follow this sequence, which has been for eternity the sequence of success, are less poor. So even if you come from a poverty-stricken environment, from a lower socioeconomic environment, and for people who come from a higher socioeconomic environment, if you follow that success sequence, you are much more guaranteed. Something like 84% of people are going to improve their socioeconomic status than if they don't. So what they're saying is, and here's the contradiction, Zoe, that if you have a baby first and then you get married, or you have a baby, you are less likely to succeed in life, and that baby is going to have a higher risk of not being economically sound.
Sure.
So we've got these two different opinions,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of between the two because I really think there are so many other variables that really determine success of people.
Well, there are so many schools of thoughts on this. We definitely will continue this conversation. Graham is in the kitchen, but we are talking relationships. Remember to give us a call, 021-430-89 or 9881.
021-430-9881. There we go.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, it's time for us to catch up with our relationship expert. Dr. Eve is still in the house. We're talking marriage. Is it still relevant in this day and age? Now, Dr. Eve, we talked about, success, how a couple stays successful, the different kind of, levels that you've got to go through in life to maintain that.
Yeah.
And quite some interesting things that you said, if you swap them around and if you don't do it according to,
that sequence.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'd love to hear from our listeners, from our viewers. So used to saying listeners. From our viewers.
Well, they're listening.
They're listening, thank you. From our viewers, do you think marriage is still relevant? Is it
Yeah.
something that you feel is necessary and committed to? The thing is, people are still getting married.
Yeah.
They're getting married. They may not be staying married as long as they used to. They're also getting married way older.
Yeah.
So for women, the average age of marriage is about 30, and for men, it's about 34 years old.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is that they're valuing career first, and then they're saying, okay, we may have a baby, and then we're going to get married, and then the marriages don't always last as long as they used to.
Yeah.
Today, divorce is something which we know is about 50% of people end up in divorce because they can. And also there is this notion of, if I'm unhappy, I have a right to get out. We've moved into that kind of thinking of, if it doesn't work for me, this has got a sell-by date, and let me get out. But it's not that easy, as we know.
Well, Dr. Eve, I want to know, those who are standing about to get married, I don't want to scare them. So what can they do? Is there some form of preparation that they can prepare themselves for when it comes to marriage?
Yeah, one needs to look at expectations, because expectations have shifted enormously. We have an overabundance of expectation of what we expect from a marriage partner. We expect this person, and this was really based on my research that I did for my book on cyber infidelity, when I asked people, what do you expect from a marriage partner? And say, well, I expect this person to be my best friend, which I found really fascinating. I want you to be my best friend. I want you to be my emotional support, my financial support, and my lover. And so lover kind of didn't come up as number one, where back in the day it was always like, well, I'm going to get married because I want to be able to have legal sex with somebody.
Yeah.
But it isn't like that anymore. People are expecting a tremendous amount from this one person. And so there isn't a whole lot of leeway really to have breathing space. Marriage is a very heavy duty place to be in. Then there's also something which is called the advantage of marriage. And this is research that I read just last week, which was really fascinating for me. Marriage advantage was that if you were married, you had the advantage of having somebody in your bed. So you had a much higher chance of being frequently sexual, more intimate, more regularly with somebody because you were married. And what this research found was that for the first time ever, this is no longer an advantage, meaning that married people are not being more sexual than single people. Because you've just got somebody who is your mate and they're with you, you're not being sexual more frequently. In fact, the sexual activity between married people has dropped. And I wonder if that's our viewers' experience, if they'll be brave enough to share that with us. The advantage of being married is because I have a sexual partner, but is that really happening for you?
Well, let us know. Our lines are open. That number is 0214309881. Dr. Eve still with us in the house.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. We are still with Dr. Eve this morning. We're talking about how relevant is marriage in this day and age. And of course, hearing so many different reasons as to why people choose to not get married, why they choose to get married. But I also want to talk about this whole thing of, possibly the whole fantasy around marriage. It's something that us girls have grown up with our whole lives. It's that whole princess idea that someday a knight is going to ride up to us and our lives will change. I remember many years ago, Oprah was chatting to a doctor who wrote a book called Lies at the Altar. And sometimes how we promise all of these things that we end up not being able to do when financial problems kick in or health problems kick in, and then you look for the back door when you actually did promise to spend the rest of your life with this person.
And when ill health comes in as well, and when money disappears as well.
When the issues get real.
When the issues get real, people really get scattered and they become afraid of marriage.
Yeah.
Marriage is a huge challenge. And this is, my therapy room is filled with couples who are either married or cohabitating. And it's a huge challenge, and it really is for the brave to take it on. I'm in great admiration, which I think there's another angle to this, is perhaps because of those huge fantasies and huge expectations of what we expect in marriage, a lot of people, more people are settling for cohabitation. That's become almost your primary form of living together and being committed. because it feels as if not as significant or legal or religious, so I can duck out the door. The truth of it is that when it does end or when it becomes difficult, it's just like any other relationship. But there is a added burden, I'm going to call it that, which marriage brings to people of expectation.
Okay. We've actually got a call on the line
Yes.
who wants to remain anonymous, 40 years old, currently cohabiting with her partner, and wants to know, is there any value to getting married? Good morning, Anonymous. How are you?
I'm fine, and yourself?
Very good, thank you. What is your comment for Dr. Eve?
Question. Like I said, both are part, me and my partner, we're 40 years old, but just would like to know, should we just remain living together, or is it must we rather get married? I'm not sure yet, because I'm thinking we pass a sell-by date, so yeah, my question.
Just
sell-by date?
You just threw that in. First you phone in to say, should we be getting married? And then you say, we passed our sell-by date. What do you mean by past your sell-by date? What makes you feel
We're
that?
40. I mean, like most of the people get married at the age of 30.
Yes. So,
Yeah, so
So
40 is too old, or
well, I
is
don't
it
think
so?
You know, there are people who are 80 who are getting married because it feels so romantic. One of the reasons we get married is to be able to feel the commitment, and not only
Okay.
financially but emotionally as well. But I mean, are you feeling your sell-by date is over because the relationship is no longer interesting for you, as I spoke about earlier? You know, you're not happy, or do you feel?
No, it's still interesting. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
very much interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so there's no sell-by date over here. The advantages to you getting married is something very personal that you and your partner have to work out, and it could be just about money and about legality. But I'm wondering if it would add an extra layer of commitment to you. Would you feel more committed and serious about the relationship if you were married?
Yeah. Makes sense, yes.
Oh, okay. So you
Okay.
want to take it to that level?
Yes.
Well, girlfriend, go have fun, you know. Go and do it.
Thanks,
Go and do
ladies.
it. Do the proposal. Make yourself feel safer.
Thanks.
And 40 is not old, I'm just saying.
No.
Life starts at 40,
Okay, now
girl.
I'm turning 40
You
next
live your
Monday,
best
so-
life. Yes. Awesome. We're going to wish you, Anonymous.
Thank you for calling. Thank you so
40.
much. Well, listen, we'll have more with Dr. Eve. Keep those calls coming. Our number's 021 430 9881.
It's my feel good breakfast show.
We are still with Dr. Eve in the house. Of course, our number is open as 021 430 9881. And we are talking about, is marriage still relevant today? And our conversation was sparked by Statistics SA releasing the fact that more and more South Africans are getting divorced compared to getting married.
Yeah.
And why is it that more women are initiating the divorce proceedings than men?
Isn't that fascinating? Like 39% of women or something are initiating the divorce. It's because they can. Because women finally have rights, and it's thinking we've had rights since '94, every single woman in this country, but it's kind of taken time, 20 odd years for it to sink in, and so more and more women are finding their voice and saying, well, equally I have the right to be saying I'm unhappy, I don't want to be here. You know, one of the big drivers of divorce is infidelity, which is what my specialization or my practice is. I'm really interested in working with infidelity, what's called complex relationships, and that drives women to seeking divorce, either because they themselves have committed infidelity or their partners have, whether it's online or whether it's in real life. And that would be the reason we're like, okay, you know, I'm done, I'm out of here. Although I have to say a lot of people very bravely stick through the infidelity and try and make the marriage work. But because of the turnover, because there are sell-by dates, and because there is this mindset today of there's something better, also because of the independence of women and women wanting careers and women realizing that I can raise a child on my own, or I can have a child without having to be married. And if I am married, I don't have to stick around because of the finances. More and more women are financially independent, which is great. So they feel I don't have to be in this marriage, and I'm not going to stick to somebody who's abusive or emotionally or financially withholding to me, and I'm able to get out of this. And they do that. So this is always a good thing. I love to hear that women find they can be free enough to leave situations where in the past they didn't have that freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have another call on the line.
Yes.
Kate is on the line. Kate, good morning. What is your question for Dr. Eve?
Good morning. I don't really have a question. It was more of a comment. If that's okay.
It's fine.
To do with marriage and Dr. Eve saying about why are people getting divorced. And I feel that when people get married, it should be a self-sacrificing love. You know, the love that you have for a child. You don't walk out on your child because you're unhappy or your child's not making you happy. You give your all, and you've made a commitment that you're going to be that person's spouse for the rest of your life. And that is love. That's true love. And even when you're unhappy, you stick it through and you do everything you can to make it work, because you've said, I am going to marry you. I'm going to live with you forever. I'm going to be your wife or your husband and make it work.
Well, Kate, I just hear the warble in your voice, and I don't know if it's emotional or just nervous talking on television, or if it's reflective of your own situation where you are very clear on that self-sacrifice story. Is it? Are you feeling like you're self-sacrificing right now?
No, I am very in love. I'm newly married, but it's a belief I have. I'm a Christian, and
okay.
You know, I believe that when you get married, it's not about me. It's about God uniting two people together for eternity.
Okay.
And you've got to. You can't go into marriage with a self-centered view, because it won't work.
You know, I respect your view very much. A lot of people follow that they take this sense of religion and bring it into marriage. And in fact, it's one of the protective factors of a marriage. In fact, it's been shown through research that if people follow religion, whichever religion that you have, it's going to protect you from divorce, because you think of it, as Kate does, as that I am here for a higher purpose. It's not just a selfish me and you, and when I feel unhappy, you know, cheers, I'm out the door, or I'm going to go for a bit of therapy as Dr. Eve, and then it'll give me permission to get out. So a lot of people do stick into a marriage because of religion.
Well, I do think it's one of those topics that we can talk about for ages and ages and ages, because there's just so much to talk about.
Absolutely.
But that's why we have Relationship Mondays with Dr. Eve, and we'll have her back next week, same time, same place. Relationship Mondays. This is the place to be.